Yo, what's up guys, this is Pat from Well Intentions, and today I have a special guest with me. This is Ice, and we are doing a live Q&A video shoot for the YouTube channel. And before we crack into it, Ice, introduce yourself.
Yep, so I'm Ice White. I have represented and created the movement called Message Game for a few years now. So these questions we're going to answer are from the groups Message Game and Veiled Intentions, which is his group. So the links are in the description. The questions we're going to answer are from the comments we received there. Recently, I wrote a book called The Message Game. I got it here up my ass right now. There it is. So if you want to know further information, this has almost 300 pages. So it's available for you. It's called The Message Game. It's written completely by myself. It's got hundreds of screenshots in there. And we'll just dive straight into it.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to do this collab for so long, and finally we found each other here in beautiful Vienna, which is fucking cold now. And why I wanted to collab with Ice is because our texting is like quite similar. We skip bullshit. We're going straight to the point, no matter if it's Tinder or any other dating app. And yeah, let's start with the first questions guys had in our Facebook groups. And the first question, which was the on and ongoing question, and will be always, is like Tinder Pics, Tinder Bio. What is the perfect bio? How does the perfect Tinder profile looks like? And before Ice will go into the detail, let me tell you one thing. I always kind of relate Tinder profile pics and bios to a movie, you know? Like you have a movie trailer, and your profile should be the same. Like it should be not too long. It should give the girl or the person who sees it some impression of you. Like which genre is it? What is waiting for me when I'm dating this guy, when I'm watching this movie? What is waiting for me? And the bio should be nothing else but a cherry on top, so the girl memorize it, okay, again in words, like the outro in movie trailers, like short, simply, and straight to the point. And yeah, you can compare it, as I said, to movies, to a good movie trailer. A good movie trailer is also not 3 minutes long, which means fucking 9 pictures in a Tinder profile, but it should be ideal case 4 or 5 pictures. And of course a short but on point bio. But Ice will give you more details on this one.
Yeah. So I have seen at this point hundreds or maybe even thousands of people's Tinder profiles. And what I noticed is a lot of these involve selfies. I'm almost completely against this. If you have a mirror selfie, fucking push that shit out. Do not put that on there. It is lame. And another thing you shouldn't have is, I kind of hate when I see our guys put up a group photo and it's just trying to convey a social sense, but the problem is
try
that
hard. You know,
yeah, try hard,
girls
exactly.
From the club and, hey girls, come here, do a photo shoot, and the girls are looking away
yeah, so one of those versions is if it's got lots of girls in it, or even one or a few. A lot of these photos I have seen, they're the guy's trying to get the photo with her, so it kind of implies it's the first time he's got a photo with a girl. And if it's his only one on his profile, that's probably the best one he has ever had of him and a girl together in the same photo with him. So if you are more happy than any girls are in the photos, not gonna work.
You know, this always
not
reminds
ideal.
me of being a fan, and pulling girls hey, can you do a story? Can we do a shooting together? Of course, mostly every girl will agree. Okay, here, and you will come along as this little fanboy doing a this perfect yeah, I found finally a really hot girl, and now I put it on Tinder so everybody can see I can get girls in my life. But of course the girls who swipe on your profile know, okay, this is not the case.
Yeah, not quite. And another one is if it's just a group photo, but you're just having dinner. I've seen this quite a lot of times where they're just sitting down and their neck is leaning towards the other person. And that means whoever the necks are leaning to, whoever the dinosaur necks are leaning to, it's the center
It's
of
the
the
one-
photo.
and
So
it's the one
if
with
you
the lower value.
yeah, if you are doing that, it doesn't only say that you're low value, but whoever is in the middle is the center of attention, is the center of the story, the photo going on.
And this is again like thinking before you setting up a profile in the bio who you want to attract. You know, guys are every time like asking the wrong questions. You have to think the first question is who I want to attract. You know, this is like the genre I'm looking for. What is the genre? What is the movie genre? Okay, when you like want to attract people who are into horror movies, then be the fucking horror movie. Okay, like. Not like it has to be congruent also with the bio when you're setting up a bio. And most of the guys, I mean, this is like recently pretty big misinterpretation in the community, is like having all those guys like looking like some ground schoolers, and they have like this bios written as like they would be like the next Mr. Christian Grey, and this is absolutely not congruent with their character, with their like picture, you know. And maybe they can pull it off to the point where they meet a girl, and then there is no like physical escalation. There's not even going for a kiss or not even like touching the girl, and the girl is like thinking, okay, what the fuck? And then when you face the person, he's like, I don't know, like this is Mr. Nice Guy doesn't know even
I don't know
how to kiss the girl.
That's my online personality. I don't know, but yeah, that reminds
This makes me laugh like every time, and like really making me like.
Yeah, if you're saying you're this, you're making expectations for other people on what to expect about you. So my rules for the bio are simply keep it simple. And actually, the second one, I learned this from looking at profiles of girls, actually. I noticed that there was a 4-letter code, so I Googled it, and I found a website called 16personalities.com. And you can take a test, find out what kind of personality you are. I was doing this to understand what it was about. And then I realized, fuck, that's pretty good, actually. It tells the people who know about it what kind of person I am automatically, instead of trying to qualify myself by saying, I'm really nice, or whatever ways people qualify themselves these days. But if you are qualifying yourself, which is happening so much, then you should really drop that, because that's something people should find out about you. What you should convey should be something pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and generally what kind of person you are. So you should convey that you're fun, easygoing, whatever, but not in a way that you straight up say you are, if that makes sense.
I mean,
might not.
I mean, to quickly sum it up, the bio should be nothing else but an underlining of who you are in the pictures, you know? Kind of like having a profile of like a comedy movie, and then writing the bio says like something of an erotic thriller, you know? Basic Instinct or some shit, you know? It has to be congruent, to sum it up. And there was also a question from another guy who was like, okay, what would be the perfect bio for an Asian guy? Or like, this is also again the wrong question. Guys are like asking, like the bio is again not related to your authenticity. It should be come along again what you are in your pics, what the girl can expect when she meets you, you know. And also at the bio, when the girl, she doesn't even have to click into your bio, because most guys are doing the bio like the following. They're doing like points amongst themselves, like one point, the next comes under it, and this is not working that good, because the girl has to go to your profile and then sees your bio. But you can do the trick to line each word up, you know, side by side, so she doesn't even have to click on your profile, but she will like see it right away. So what I have in my profile, of course, first I have the height. I recommend every guy who is not taller than 5'9", don't put it in the profile. When you're taller, put it in the profile. And what I have next is like my location. Of course, when you're traveling, like put in, like, for example, a nice example, he would be like Vienna, and the dates, like
I actually did that. I did, so my latest bio, it says are Halifax, Nova Scotia, or Nova Scotia, Canada, and London, England, and just that at the very bottom, I think. So I do that. I don't necessarily put in like the dates I'm going to be somewhere though, because that could kind of turn a few people off if they're like, he's only
Especially
here
when it's
for
too
2
short.
days.
Yeah, when it's like
Exactly.
for 2 nights or something, girls are like, this is like the typical guy who just wants to have sex. Of course.
Yeah. So yeah.
And as we said, like don't write sentences like most guys are writing a fucking novel. It's again like the same, like when you would read a book, don't like write the whole book there so nobody want to read it, but write a short introduction of the book and what comes next. For example, if you are like the origin, if you are like from an exotic country, in the flags there, and this will also add like something exotic to you, you know. What are we gonna do next? The next question.
I got one. Yes.
Okay, you got one?
So here's a question that wasn't put in the comments, but I see it every single week. I see it on such a regular basis. And that question is, what do I say next? I fucking hate this one. I get people sending me screenshots of them messaging someone and they say, hey, and then the girl says, hey, and then they're like, what do I say next? I'm like, man, what the fuck are you doing? You have done literally nothing so far. You just sent her, hey. A fucking retard sends messages like that. So
And
don't.
then it comes with how you're doing.
Yeah.
Good.
How are you doing?
How are you doing? Good. And then, oh, she stopped responding. Oh, what do I do next?
Oh no. How do I. If you're like that, how do you expect to achieve anything?
And
So,
again, I have a
as we said
Yeah.
at the very beginning, what we like about each other's perspectives on this is that we're very about no bullshit. No bullshit like that. It's not what you say next. It's about getting shit done. And if you are just sending out random lines thinking they're so magical that it's gonna make things happen.
make her pants wet.
It's not about, yeah, it's not about lines. It's about how you guide the conversation. So if you know my material pretty well, you would know that I do have lines, yes, but it's not the lines. It's what you do with those lines. So for example, a lot of my screenshots in my book, they say, let's skip all the bullshit. How spontaneous are you? Or how adventurous are you? And then the girl would qualify herself, saying how adventurous or spontaneous she is, maybe 7 out of 10.
They like the
or an
numbers game. You know,
example.
when you put in like on a scale from 1 to 10, they like this numbers game, like 7 or 8 or something like that.
Yeah. You need to lead the conversation because if you don't do it, she won't, unless she's a hooker or something.
I have a good comparison to this. Again, like not movie this time, don't worry. But what I want to say is, and what he already said is that your texting should be on purpose, you know? Always do everything on purpose, either triggering her emotions or setting up a date. This is like nothing. Every text I send to the girl are already 2 steps ahead. I'm already 2 steps ahead. I already know, okay. And this also should, you guys are doing, before clicking on the send button, try to, again, rethink your message you wrote. Okay? What is a message I really, what I want to achieve with this message? When she writes, hey, how are you? And I'm good, how are you? What do you want to achieve with this? You know, before you click on the send button, always be 2 steps ahead. Okay, what will be my follow-up text? Also, when I have an opener, I'm already 2 steps ahead. I already know, okay, what will be my follow-up text? What will she respond? And this is, texting works for you. I mean, the time is working for you when it comes to texting, which creates automatically kind of abundance because she doesn't know, okay, this is guy writing with other girls as well or not when you reply later. This is like, also don't give away the script as he said. This is like, I'm always comparing it to a movie director. Like if I would write a movie, the girl is the extras. I'm decide where to put the extras in which scene where I want the extras. I'm leading her towards the date or towards the scene I want her to be in, and don't let her take my script, and don't let her by like I don't know, like like it's changing that she becomes a director and I'm just playing a part in her movie, you know, and I'm giving away my power. And also for an example would be like when she is like asking like, hey, how are you? Instead of replying, hey, I'm good, how are you? I can write like good point, so it's done with this little word, and then I can continue with writing to this cute XYZ, which is referring something like on a callback humor or on a profile description she has, writing to her this and that girl, do you know her? Something like that, for example. And then it's automatically like a bit sexual when you're putting like certain words, and automatically like change it to more of a flirty vibe. And it's getting not like this boring and uninterested, because most guys also have the problem, okay, how do I turn her on? Because she seems not interested. How can I turn her on from these flat conversations? Actually, most of the time you fucked it up yourself. The next question we have, and this is one we're getting so often, is how can I make a girl respond to my text? How can I make a girl respond more? How can I make a girl invest more into my texting? And yeah, Ice, what's your take on this?
My take is pretty straightforward, I guess. If she's not being so responsive, then you're not messaging with much purpose, probably. On the other hand, you also probably messaging too much, as in you message her every few minutes or every hour, or too regularly, basically. And what you should be doing instead of aiming to get responsiveness or like 100 messages sent between both of you before getting a date, that shouldn't be happening. You should be getting stuff done as quickly as possible. Or not as a time frame, but in a message frame, in terms of you send 10 messages at most and things should be done. It should be that quick, ideally. Or even
done, like
less.
in our screenshots, always like 1 or 2 screenshots. We're going for the number, and the rest we already like give an imagination of a date, and the rest on WhatsApp we concretize it. I always move on like to the number, because you're in a big pool, you know, you're like a fish in a big pool, and she got so many messages, and even when your opener is good, there is a high risk that you're getting unread, because every guy like comes up with the hey, and you're at place number, I don't know, 79 or something, so she won't even like scroll down, you know. And that's why we move things as soon as we can like forward, and asking for the number, and move all this shit to WhatsApp, where I'm not swimming with so many fishes in the sea, you know. Let's make the mistake, like when she's not texting much or she doesn't respond like that much back, they tend to invest more. Okay, again I have to send a quality text, again I have to, and this comes along as not only try hard, but only you're losing so much value, especially when it's something with a high investment and the girl replies back like, maybe she doesn't even reply back, or when she replies back with an emoji or something like that, you know. This is the wrong way of doing it, and falling into a trap of now investing even more. But also mirroring would be also not efficient when she, for example, responds back with one-liners and emojis, and you're responding back with emojis and one-liners. This would go also nowhere. So the best thing is to send open loops. What is an open loop? Open loop is nothing else but a topic or a statement which is unresolved, and makes her like you passing the ball to her so she can solve this, makes her curious, makes her like also be more challenging, because guys tend to be often not challenging enough. And what is an open loop, for an example, would be, and I'm using often like spiking words like OMG, comma, so it's true what they say about XYZ, which referring to her personality or like bio or picture or callback humor you had with her in the past, and that's it. And then you leave it unresolved, and she jumps on it in ideal case, and then you're like, oh, never mind, or anyways, switch topic, and then she getting even more turned on. Okay, tell me, and she starts to invest more, and yeah, that's how you like turn on like girls like who never respond or just like fucking around with you. And the next thing we want to talk, or do you want to add something more on this?
Just a little, yeah. Ultimately, what a girl wants is a man who can take the lead. And if you are just message with absolutely no purpose there, then it's probably going to go nowhere anyway. And think about it. If you are doing nothing but just exchanging lots of messages and that's all it's doing, then the habit on both sides is that your relationship to each other is that of pen pals, basically. You're just sending messages, you're not meaning. When the actual purpose.
Also, when you try to be cocky and funny, always try to lead in your back head. Try to lead somewhere. Okay, where do you want to have this girl?
Yeah, of course, there's room to throw in cocky, funny, and jokes and anything interesting. But of course, there has to be movement. There has to be leadership, and there has to be action. Because if there's no action, then nothing's going to happen, and that's a scientific fact.
Yeah, exactly. And once I had this time waster, I don't know, maybe it happened to you as well, and we chit-chatted. Pretty sure you guys get it as well. Sorry, I don't meet with strangers, which is completely unlogical because on Tinder everybody's stranger. Yeah, but before you will say or this one, or the second one is I don't give my number out to everybody, or maybe like the third case is I'm not that easy, which means she's actually looking for a bit more comfort from your side, a bit more invest. But to every of these three cases, we have the ideal answers to get things done, and you already said it.
Yeah, so related to that, I had this case where a girl said, I only want to have a first meet over coffee. I only want to do coffee to meet you. And then when we met, we did something else. So it doesn't always have to go that way just because she said so. So instead, I decided to take her to a hot chocolate place because I love breaking rules. So we went there, and then we hopped over to another location. I forgot where it was. We just visited a few stores, went to another part of the city, and then I said, my groceries are coming in a delivery, which this isn't a lie, I was telling the truth. I do online grocery shopping sometimes. And I said, do you like Mexican food? We can cook some fajitas. And guess what? She came with me. We went there, we cooked together, we had food, and she stayed over the next day. So this girl at first said, she was very hesitant at meeting at first. This took a few months. At first, she was like, I don't want to give my number out. Eventually, I got there because I was then like, so how do you expect this to go anywhere? How do you expect to go on a date? What are you here for? Don't be worried about it, but just have that in mind, because that would be a bit counterproductive if she doesn't want to meet up. That's the whole point of Tinder. The whole point of Tinder and dating apps and stuff like that is to meet up and have a date and to meet each other. The whole point of messaging is to meet each other. If there's no action going on or nothing getting done because of messaging, then what's the point? You shouldn't just be pen pals. What was your second one?
I wanna get onto the first one quick. Like, we have to, like, about every 3 points we mentioned, let's think about why the girls are saying this. Mostly girls are saying this because they are unsure. You know, when they are afraid of meeting you, you're a stranger. Okay. For us guys, it's pretty simple. You know, the fact is, when we meet up a girl, we only want the girl to be good looking. Now, this is our only worry, or the only worry we have is like, oh, I hope she's good looking, or I hope she looks like on her pictures. But for a girl, it's more, you know. For a girl, it's like, I hope this guy is not socially awkward. I hope this guy is not creepy, or I hope this guy is not a rapist or something like that. You know, she has much more factors in her mind, and therefore she's unsure when she sends you those messages like, I don't meet up with strangers. I mean, don't try to be this guy who is going into a logical war with her and try to explain like, yeah, but on Tinder everybody is like a stranger and this and that, because you won't win a logical war with a girl. Girls are more emotional than logical. So what I used to send to those girls is like, hey, I'm not a stranger. We are friends who didn't met yet. That's it. You know, this is like unlogical as fuck, but this is like to getting a response, like to reframe it. This is like I'm putting myself, like lowering my how do you say, like the sexual being the guy who just only wants to fuck, or stepping back of like we are just friends who didn't met yet, and being more of this nice guy here. And the second point is when she says, for example, I don't give out my number that easily, or stuff like that. And this is also like the same thing as point number 1, but mostly guys doing the mistake of building comfort by, hey, I'm like working as this and that, hey, I'm going to this and that, I'm this and that guy, and trying to build like comfort and shooting out these fat phrases. And at the end, the good texting they had, this flirty texting, this short and challenging texting, turned to be like a more they friend zone themselves, you know, they let them show in their cards, they taking away the power, and they like posting big bricks of like I'm this guy, I'm that guy, to make the girl like convinced to go out with them, or building comfort. But this is building comfort the wrong way.
So imagine the problem she's saying is, I don't give my number out that easily, and there's a bridge you have to cross, but there's no bridge. You can put a stepping stone in there, and you can say, well, that's okay, let's get to know each other. And then she's like, how do you do that? And then let's meet. She can meet you. That's no problem, right? If it's about the phone number, if she wants to meet you, she could then give you her phone number. That actually has worked plenty of times for me.
Or for example, the third point, like we talked about, is like the girl who is like saying or writing to you like, tell me something more about you. Means she's still like unsure, and the guy's coming again with those fat bricks of text, like, tell me something more about you. I went to this school, I went to that school, I'm working as this, I'm working as that, these are my hobbies, listed, and this flirty, challenging conversation waters down, and you retangle yourself, but it's really too much comfort-seeking text. And what you want to do here is stepping back and shooting text. For example, my grandma would be described as charming, down to earth, blah blah blah. Like some little. It has to be like, it can be like unlogical as well, and some words, you know. That's it. And by playing it down with, my grandma would describe me as, or my teacher in ground school would describe me as, it's like more like a bit again of like flirty humor, and which will solve the case.
Yeah, exactly. That solves the entire question for now, I suppose.
If you wanna dig deeper into this, like, make sure to subscribe to this channel, make sure to join Ice group, make sure to join my group, and I will also link Ice brand new book, the link in the comment section, and it is available on Amazon.
Yeah, ebook and paperback. If you want to know what the paperback looks like, I got the paper on my back. I just made that pun.
This is like,
right now. I'm a genius.
It like 300 pages.
Almost 300 pages.
Almost 300 pages, and you find everything with screenshots.
Yeah, hundreds of screenshots, hundreds of examples. Therefore, everything broken down. If that's not enough, there is an FAQ where we have lots of these questions we just went through, plus more, such as how long should I wait to reply? How regularly should I be messaging her? What do I do when it comes to the date and I want to escalate? How do I escalate on the date? Everything you can possibly need to know is broken down.
Who know my channel know I'm all about like skipping the bullshit, giving you straight points, solving your outer game, and also like your text game. Most of my videos are actually about text games, so make sure to subscribe to this channel, like and comment the video. And yeah, it was nice to meet you guys.
Boom. Calling from Vienna.
Peace, man.
My first time here.